this quote from Sarah Vaughan, legendary jazz singer, diva, goddess. Somebody asked her about her creative process, and she said, I just get out there and sing. I don't think about what I'm going to do. It's too complicated. And I'm not implying that you haven't studied your craft and that you're not studying your craft, but it does seem that there's a very natural, instinctive element in your music making. And I think that's partly in your DNA. You come from a very musical family.
Oh, yeah. My grandparents had a choir called the Savettes of Philadelphia, Elder Goldwire and Ruth McClendon. And their kids, my dad being one of them, is a bass player and a singer. My aunts and uncles all sing and play something. So music is definitely in the family. And I definitely agree with Sarah Vaughan in that, when you get up there, you don't want to be thinking about, things to change, I guess, or what I did wrong or anything like that. But I think that if you prepare, in advance, if you think about all the technical stuff in advance, then by the time you get up on stage, you'd be like, I'm prepared, I'm here, in the moment, embracing, what I'm about to do, what I'm about to sing. And then those things just kind of flow naturally from that preparation and from, that advance thought.
Yeah, that's the not fancy part that nobody knows about.
Yeah.
What is your first memory of making music?
Well, I do remember being in church growing up, singing "Oh Happy Day." But recently my dad did show me a cassette tape of his where I'm singing an Usher song when I was like 3 years old. So even though I don't remember doing that, I guess I was, and I remember being, or at least my mom telling me that I was a quiet kid and that I wasn't, very outgoing. I was really shy and only made noise when I cried. But singing, and music has always been a part of my life. But I think the earliest memory is probably being in church singing.
Yeah. And you talk about your parents' music. You talk about discovering that music, and clearly it informed your choices. And I have this memory too. So my sisters and I, classical music from age of 4. And so every Saturday we went to these classes all day at the conservatory. This is in San Francisco where I grew up. And it was like a long day. Yeah. And we would come home and play dress up and go through my parents' records. And I have these really clear memories of like pulling out the Beatles records and the Sinatra records and the, the Ella records. And there's something about that connection with your parents' music. But I just remember feeling like, well, if this is their music, I love the music, and also it's this gateway into this secret life that your parents had before you and sort of your own history. And I think as a musician, it can't help but shape what you turn into.
Right, and influence you. And I love, when I was growing up and my mom would be showing me music that she listened to, or like, when I was in college, this was the song. Everybody got out on a dance floor to sing, to dance to this one and that one. I see their faces light up, and recall, where they were in life at that time and what joyful memories that song brings them. And so in turn, I guess it made me want to know more about, the music that they grew up with and dive into it. And so I guess, when I was listening to, let's say, like Luther Vandross or Stevie Wonder, or like, my mom really liked the Whispers and, that those kind of groups, that I really enjoyed listening to it with them. That was something that we shared together.
Yeah. I think you also realized at a certain point, and you didn't start studying jazz formally until you were in your teens and in high school. So you'd already been, singing and exploring your voice. Yeah. But I think there's such an interesting interplay between what you learn and what you have. Right. And I think those two things kind of, like the balance of them kind of shifts depending on what you need at any given moment.
True. I'm grateful for the foundation of being able to develop my voice and, explore different singers without any sort of pressure. I was just like, going into high school. Towards the end of high school is when I really started to, when I was first introduced to jazz, but I didn't start studying it formally until I was in college. Like my freshman year, it was like, boom, you're in jazz studies program. And I've never listened to this music before. But, in a way, it's a good position to be in because it's like now I don't have any preconceived notions about I have a foundation and I have, a voice. But now there's something new that I've never experienced before, a world that I had never experienced, a style of singing that I wasn't open to, or at least open to, exploring until that time, that I was able to thankfully naturally gravitate towards, and sort of take in and feel at home in.
Yeah.
Because there were a lot of people that are like, you know, you should sing this genre because this is more popular. You should sing that. You know, you have a voice. You can sing anything you want to. And it's like, well, I'm choosing, you know, to dedicate my time and really my life to this art form. And it's just, you know, I don't know. It's just incredible.
So this music, I mean, for me, you know, it's classic. It's like deep in my bones. It's a bedrock of American music. It's new to a lot of people. And one of the things I've been thinking a lot about is, you know, in this time when we're kind of revisiting our history, big picture as a country, or looking at a lot of our history, especially as it pertains to race. And there are these figures that are emerging from the past of our music who are kind of getting a second look. You know, there are these women who have been so unfairly treated by history. They've been sort of locked into, you know, a box: victim, addict, tragic figure, Billie Holiday, Nina Simone. And to understand who they really were and how they were actually using their agency, even in that time and place and with all the constraints. You know, Billie Holiday as an activist who was singing Strange Fruit when nobody wanted her to, and Hazel Scott giving up everything for her convictions. Josephine Baker spying, you know, for the French resistance against the Nazis. It's huge, right? So you're really stepping into this powerful lineage of women, but you're stepping in from the beginning with your self-definition and your agency. And I wonder about your relationship to them as your, you know, your ancestors, how you feel them watching over you or informing you as women.
Every day I feel so blessed that people like them, women like them, paved the way for me to experience all of this. Like to have the freedom to have a career, you know, in this music without, I guess, suffering from the same boundaries, I guess, that were put on them, or like, you know, criticisms, you know, of like, you shouldn't be speaking like this. I think there was a quote of Abby Lincoln. She released this album called Straight Ahead, which was, you know, political, and it was talking about life and talking about poverty and talking about, you know, just the things that she wanted. It was released in 1961. And one of the critics said, "You're exploiting your blackness. You're exploiting being a Negro." And it's like, I am black. Okay. I am a black woman. And, you know, so to have them go through that, you know, to go through fighting for their voice, for me to be able to have one in the first place. I think about that every day. I'm so grateful to my ancestors, to my grandmother, you know, to my mom. Like I'm grateful for it all, because it wasn't the same, you know, when this music was being created. It wasn't the same, you know, as it is now. The same circumstances.
Right. I heard somebody say something once that was so wrong, which was, there are no rules in jazz. You know, in fact, there are a million rules in jazz, and then there's what you do with those rules.
Exactly,
right?
Exactly.
I heard Ellis Marsalis give a master class, and a teenage boy said that to him, and I thought the roof was going to fall down. It was like, young man.
Let me straighten you out real quick. I came into jazz not knowing really what it is or what it sounded like. And so if I come into it and I'm just like, well, I'm going to sing it my way, and I have no, you know, background or anything about where it came from, what it is, what it sounds like, then if I go up on stage and sing, I'm going to sound like I don't know what I'm talking about. It's just going to sound uninformed. Maybe it'll sound nice, you know, in the way that I do it, but I think ultimately it will sound uninformed. So yeah, it's very important to have a foundation in anything that you do, and know the rules before you know what to break.
So we're talking about this training of yours as if it were normal, but what happened was you started college, you put out an album, you won this major international competition, the Sarah Vaughan competition, you exploded on TikTok, you signed with Verve, you have this huge major debut album with them. Tell me how this feels, because the thing that I see in you is that you're so grounded and you're so chill and you're so you. And I mean, that's largely what everyone's responding to, but it's a lot to handle.
Yeah, it's a lot. and things have been moving so fast that sometimes I don't have time to really like sit and process it, I guess. It's just like, I'm like, okay, where's the set list for the show, and getting musicians and, you know, focusing on the music that I'm like, okay, all of these opportunities that are coming up are major, like they're huge. And I guess it started with the Sarah Vaughan competition when I I was in my junior year at Purchase at the time, and when I found out I was a finalist and preparing for it and preparing for and that was the first competition that I had ever done, and it was so much fun. It was so much fun. I got a gown. I was on Rent the Runway. I got a gown and, you know, got makeup done and everything. And I was so happy to be there, you know, in that room, you know, with all of those other incredible singers and the judges like Christian McBride and Dee Dee Bridgewater. And so when I found out I won, and I was like, everybody, you know, was like, we knew it, you know, and you're going to go far. You're going to do great things. I guess that was like the first step into all of this, you know, was that moment. The pandemic hit, didn't really, you know, get things moving. But one of the judges from the Sarah Vaughan competition, his name was Matt Pearson. He's a producer, and we stayed in contact and encouraged the idea of recording an album in the middle of the pandemic, which I was like, this is crazy. You know, what's going to come of this? I don't know. You know, I don't know what the future holds, but October of 2020, we recorded the album. Did my first tour in November, recorded the next one in March of 2022, signed a Verve the following month, and then just kind of, everything just kind of like dominoes, I guess. I don't know. I don't play dominoes. I don't know. But everything
like
fell.
That's how it works, yeah. Yeah.
Even just thinking about it, just talking about it.
Oh, I bet.
Wow.
Yeah, for sure.
So incredible. And even more incredible to be sitting here with you, you know, getting to express all of those feelings and talk about it. It's amazing.
And enjoy it. That's what my mom always says to me. She says, enjoy this moment, which we don't. We're like, okay, done. Move on.
What's the next thing? Enjoy the moment.
Yeah. Talk to me about TikTok and, you know, how you got started with and sort of like what it means to you, because it's a very different audience, I'm assuming, than when you play with Jazz at Lincoln Center. But I love watching what you do there. You know, you're talking about food, you're with your dad, you're talking about your travels, and it's just very relaxed. I mean, it looks very relaxed. Does it feel very relaxed and fun?
At first, it felt like a lot of pressure, you know, because a lot of the people that I saw on TikTok before I started using it more consistently, they were so outgoing and, you know, dancing and making all this content funny, getting sponsorships and blah, blah, blah. Like, it was just very visible, which I wasn't used to. And so I just have to find my thing on it, you know, not try to copy anybody else's, just, you know, share what I love to do. And so I started putting up videos. I put up a video of Miss Regina King talking about, you know, me, I guess, on Hollywood Reporter Roundtable, and a video of me singing, like just a bunch of videos posted of me singing, because that's what I wanted to do. I'm not like kind of funny, but like I know I can't dance, but I know that I can share, you know, what I love to do, and hopefully people will gravitate toward it. And it grew exponentially in just a matter of weeks. And still I'm finding that I'm meeting people on the platform that are like, I've never heard of this kind of music before. You know, you're exposing people to, and taking them back to a time we've never been, and your voice is like this and like that. And it's beautiful, you know?
Yeah. But your TikTok followers are generally how old?
It actually ranges very wide, but I would say from my age, I'm 23, so like 20s to 40s, I think.
Okay. Yeah, but still, that's like the young audience that everybody wants, right? And my other assumption is that when you're on stage, Jazz at Lincoln Center, any of these other, you know, stages that you populate, the audience is probably not so much that audience.
Not really, yeah.
Right?
It's much more, it's seasoned, I
yes.
would say.
Yes, that's a good word. I like that. Yeah. And, you know, there's so much brain power and like marketing power, and just everyone's trying to figure out how to bring that audience into the hall. How do you feel about knowing that they're there, they're with you, they're listening to your music, they're loving your music? What can we do to get them more into the room?
Well, I think
aside from lowering the ticket price.
Lowering the ticket price, exactly. I was gonna say, like, you know, TikTok, it just makes everything accessible. You know, it's free. You get all of this, you know, wonderful content. You know, and so I still aim to continue to share on that platform. But you know, I want to do like festivals, outdoor festivals in my community, Jazz Lincoln Center maybe having like a partnership with a school, this high school that I went to, bringing people in that way, with my college, with SUNY Purchase, we're partnering up to bring the music to people, and it's not a chore, I don't think, because if they like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. But at least we took the liberty and we took the extra step to bring it to people,
But I think that that gateway is a really important one.
Yes.
That gateway is absolutely an invitation. And if we can then figure out a way to logistically open the door, I think we could really see a shift. So I love seeing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I also think, there's a lot of talk about what can institutions do to shift, but honestly, it is about the partnership with artists and artists being willing to say, let's go to my high school. Mm-hmm. Let's not expect everyone to come into this particular room. Let's go into the other rooms where they are.
Exactly. Meet people where they are.
Yeah. Your album, Linger a While, you've received this unbelievable honor and recognition. Best New Artist. That's insane.
Yeah.
Best Jazz Vocal Album. How does that recognition feel? It's so soon. It's so quick.
Exactly that. It feels very soon and unbelievable. It was definitely an overwhelming feeling. I was just like, I can't believe, are you serious? Me? Grammy? I was just, in high school in the Bronx, I'm just like, I just graduated from a public college, SUNY Purchase, and now 2 years after that, I'm here. Even now, just saying it, I'm like, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. And I know that it's incredible honor. It's an incredible honor. It only motivates me to continue, to be authentic and to be true to myself and what I want to do. So
there's this poem by Rita Dove, who is a dear friend and a collaborator and a role model in so many ways. Somebody who's, you talk about a woman whose words have changed the world.
Yeah.
She has this poem called Testimonial, and it's written from the perspective of a child who is new to the world, and so the world is an amazing, awesome place. And this quote that I try to think about this quote every day. I share it with young people around the country when I do community engagement stuff. I kind of want to throw this at you because you are at this moment right now that she's talking about in the poem, where she says, "Back when everything was still to come, luck leaked out everywhere. I gave my promise to the world, and the world followed me here."
So beautiful.
Yeah.
So my promise to the world is that I'll never stop growing, because I want to be grateful for the successes and be grateful for all that's happening to me, but always be mindful of what I can do to help others through that. So I'll never stop growing. I'll never stop listening. I'll never stop, taking in what all that's around me and the people who are making a difference in their, respective fields, and how we can work together collectively to uplift each other,
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
I think you're going to grow so huge, and I hope to just take us all with you.
Yes, I will. I promise.